issues relating to the female gender.
Well, I smell the weekend already. Good evening and thanks for joining us on ENGEDERED this evening, a program where we discuss everything about the female gender. I am Victoria Agbi.
Good evening, esteemed viewers. It's good to have you join us on the show again on ENGEDERED show, where we talk about issues pertaining the female gender here on KAFTAN TV, reaching you live from the nation's capital. I am Conifidence, Reuben. We'll go on a short break, and when we come back, the ENGEDERED show will continue. Do stay with us.
Welcome back again. If you're just joining us, you're right on time because the program is just about to begin. And I did like to introduce to our guest because he's already in the studio with us. But let me take you through what we are going to be hearing or talking about this evening in the studio. Now, let's start. Following the suspension of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, by President Bola Tinubu over allegations of misappropriations of more than 585 million naira of public money into a personal account. Many have continued to paint the notion that women often abuse power and offices when they are given an opportunity. Now, yet women are unequally represented in terms of political offices. Now, what do we do about it? What precedent should we set going forward? Are there better ways to show that women are capable of actually handling these political offices when it's given to them? Let's not forget that the minister has also denied any wrongdoing while investigations are actually going on currently. Well, today we'll be looking at how women can utilize political offices amid the fight against unequal representations in political offices and in terms of decision-making process in Nigeria, of course, even Africa at large. And we'll be doing this today with no other person than one who is a lover of women issues, is a deliberate advocator for the he for she. I call him he for she. He's no other person. He's a fine man. They call him White. But I call him White, but his name is Oladele Oluseun Sunday Prince, Your Majesty.
Thank you so much.
The king himself.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you so
How you
much.
doing?
Thanks for
Very fine
joining
today.
Wow, it's good to have you join us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining
Thank
us.
you so much. It's a pleasure being here today.
Yeah, you know, before we go into this topic, on Tuesday we're discussing about some things pertaining to the female gender, which we always do. Now, we read a story. It was on social media trends. We gave a story as to a man who picked two girls, giving them a lift, and one forgot an item in a vehicle, collected the guy's number, and said, please, I'll call you to find out if you help me see it. And at long run, the guy had discovered that she just collected his number because perhaps she likes him, and that's not because she forgot anything. So I and my colleagues here were discussing. I felt I had a very strong point that, well, I said strong point for myself because I was the only one. They were all against me. But I just told myself that I feel like it's totally like for me. I feel like it's wrong. Not like it's wrong per se, but it's not something that should be should be called normal, maybe because of the way I grew up or something. So I really want to know your take, because that day I said I wish I had a male in the house. I want to know, do you think it has any harm when it comes to courtship or relationship, or even if it gets even to the long run of marriage, Like when a lady asks a man her out or goes to the man first, should it be the other way around? Must it be the other way around, or is this way okay? Before we get into our topic.
Thank you so much. I love this particular question. There are so many things that we've allowed our culture to. Our culture has so much worked on our psyche that things these days, even things that we should see as normal, we see them abnormal. Probably because our culture says no to it. I'm someone who lives so much in culture. I'm someone who so much believe that African culture, Nigerian culture, Yoruba culture, because I'm Yoruba man, should be preserved. But the truth of the matter is this: there is this saying in Yoruba. I will say it in Yoruba and I will say it in English. Ọmọ tí ìgbà bí ni ìgbà ń pọ̀n. What this time, or let me just say that what the season begins to, that's where the season will carry. This thing in the era that we find ourselves now, it is not wrong. If you are saying that we should give female voice to speak out, if you are talking that they should be able to express themselves, compete in the society, to me personally, the lady that I respect most is the lady who can walk up to me and say, white, who can say Sunday, who can look me straight in my eyes and ask me out. Such a lady I respect.
Oh, thank you very much.
A lady, there is this thing that, in fact, you don't need to do extra work to love such a lady, because she has opened the door of her heart for you. The excuse that people give that tomorrow, if there is something, it will. She might say that, and the guy might say that, is it not your fault? It's not your fault. After all, this you came to me or that. See, there is nothing that happens in relationship, even in marriage, that people won't find excuse for.
Right. Okay.
Let the guy be the one to ask the girl out, right from when she was still in her mother's womb. Any day there is an issue, the man will say, it's not even your fault. Me that I saw that on the road and I came to this. He went there himself. He will blame himself for it. So if the other way around, a lady asked a guy out, and the guy now said, after all, you came to me, he's still finding an excuse for the issue. So because that there will be an issue one day, that should not mean that you now silence the woman, or you silence a lady from speaking out. See, let us say it. If there is anything in my life that I've done in the past that up till now that I'm regretting, is that there are times that I should speak out and I kept quiet. So if a lady thinks about something and goes for it, and please let's not condemn such a person, let's encourage her. That's my opinion.
So in summary, you're saying a woman should go for what she wants, notwithstanding cultural norms, societal sentiments.
Let her run.
Oh wow.
Let her run. That this, I like it. Then let me go for it. That's the way I see things.
Okay, so I think that's the best place to start our topic from, because we just spoke about just going for what you want. And since we are fighting or struggling, there's a struggle out there for equal representations, equity, gender parity. People should be seen as the same.
Yeah.
In terms of politics, finance, I should have the same equal pay as much as I do, as much as the male gender does. Now, following this background I laid about the suspended Minister of Humanitarian Affairs. Now, many people, I was having a discussion, a tete-a-tete discussion with someone the other day, and he pointed at the fact that, let's look at it. He said, in his own opinion, that usually when women have been put in those positions, and oftentimes they've misappropriated funds. That's the excuse he gave, that so women are not worthy to earn such kind of positions because he feels women will often abuse those powers and positions. So we should stop fighting for equity thereabouts. Although I try to defend it, but I just want to hear your say. Do you think is enough to term that issue in that manner?
You see, when people talk about women abusing power, women abusing the privilege they got, I usually laugh it off. When the issue of better edu started, and I saw people saying, you see now, that's the same way Dezani did. And some people even went as far back as remembering Oluseun Patriarchy, the former speaker also of Reuben. And I said, fine, you have your point. But do you know that all these things still bear to the fact that we are still discriminating against women? Do you know that this particular thing we are still talking about still have to do with stereotyping this issue? When you talk about they don't have the ability or the mental capacity to hold such position, do you remember the numbers of cases that we have with EFCC that has to do with men? People don't, when a woman do something that to them they believe I should not do, they seems to want to elaborate it. But when it comes to men, there is a way we see it as if it is normal.
But why though?
Now, the issue is that we've allowed it so much. Look at the now. Someone was talking to me the other time and was talking about that President Tinubu is giving women opportunities. I said, fine. Let's start from his own appointment. The number of ministers that we have, I think it may be about 8 ministers, female 8 ministers.
Yes.
The total number of ministers we had was maybe 42 or thereabout. Now only 8. And nobody is putting all these other 34 under microscopic view to look at that. What are they doing? What have they done? But because just one person, people don't remember what the likes of Akunyi have done in this country.
Oh, Konjo-Iweala.
Oh, Konjo-Iweala. See, what pushed Kemi Adeosun out of that governance, out of that government the other time, wasn't about her own ability. It was a certain cabal. Because of what she was doing. And they see that this young girl is doing something this big. If it were to be a guy or a man that did what Adeosun did that time, I doubted it if the fight against her would be that intense. For anybody to now sit anywhere or stand anywhere, to now look at the, just like Ete, Betaidu, there's an either they're right or wrong. It's not what we are talking about now. But what we are discussing is that should we now use them as parameter to generalize, to now stereotype, to now bring all the women together and say Nigeria women? No, that will be unfair on those women who had labored because of the country in the past, now, and those who still be laboring tomorrow. As an individual, I've had the opportunity of dealing with ladies at certain level or another, and I can say it anywhere that Nigerian women are not only have the ability or capacity or capability, but also they have always been discharging their efforts in a way that is more pleasing even than their men counterparts. Not because I'm sitting in between two beautiful ladies, but because I know that is what is obtainable. No human being, quote me, it's arguable, but no human being has fought cancer, fake drugs, and all the likes like late Dora Akoyili.
And she is a woman.
And she's a woman. I've seen first ladies of states performing better than even their husbands. People are making reference to what they did. That, look at what association, when late Miriam Babangida, she had a program for women, rural women. That program was what most first ladies were trying to copy to today. I don't know where the story, the history of Nigeria will put Babangida himself. But for Miriam Babangida, till tomorrow, people like me will be praying for her, because I came from a rural village in Ekiti State. And I knew the way this woman was going from one place to another. Those are the women that we should use to a standard for Nigerian women. Go to any field. Is it sports, medicine, finance, journalism, anywhere do you want to go, that you will see that you could not find a woman. Why is it that when it comes to governance, that you believe that a woman could not occupy the position? And you know one thing, it's not just about the being in government. Because the issue of women being stereotyped, being seen as not worthy enough, cuts across.
All sectors.
All sectors. That is why people will turn on their TV set, they will see a female preacher, and they will say, tune into another one. And you ask that why, they will tell you that a woman preaching to me.
Well, okay. I know you've said we shouldn't capitalize it on the wrongs by these certain persons because they've made wrongs or mistakes.
Some mistakes.
Yes, they've made some mistake. Anybody could have done.
Anybody. So are we saying that the men are not making such mistakes too?
Of course, we've seen.
So why are we now capitalizing on that? Excuse me, can we now say because there are certain governors that CFCs has taken to court because they embezzled money, we will now say that men don't have mental capability or anything to rule as a governor again? Let's make all the governors to be women. If you say no, then just 8 out of 32, out of 42, you are still condemning and saying that they should not even aspire to be there. No, that's not just unfair, it is wickedness.
Gender segregation.
Okay, so what importance do you think it is or it makes if women are being recognized and put in some certain key position? What difference does it make?
Now, this particular issue, I will talk from my own personal experience.
Okay.
Because I do tell people, each society starts with a family.
Okay.
I've been a husband for 15 years, being a father of a girl child for 14 years.
On a lighter note, you don't look married.
Like,
Where's your ring?
I don't use ring.
Okay.
But would your wife then not put on a ring?
She doesn't use ring.
Okay.
It's a
accept
mutual
that.
agreement.
Okay,
beautiful.
understanding is there.
And I've been working as a state chairman of a political party for more than 10 years. I've worked with women. And even at the national level of Action Alliance, where I'm serving under the leadership of my national leadership, Honorable Dr. Adekule Fayomaje, because someone who believes so much in women and has given them different roles to take in our party. I can say it anyway. If there is anybody I enjoyed working with, I enjoyed working with women.
Wow.
In my home, if anybody, I don't know, there are 3 boys, including me, and 2 girls, my wife and my daughter. We have seen it ourselves. The meticulous one, the organized one, are the women.
Okay.
This is the third handkerchief I'm using today. Because this one might not even be the last one today. But if my wife should tell you that she has an handkerchief she's been using for the past 10 years, that is the truth. Because she knows how to keep things.
That's true.
So when you put women, you allow them to be in position, and you give them the free hand to operate. Because it's one thing to say that I asked you to do this, and I'm still be the one dictating what you do.
Okay.
But when you give them to operate, sincerely speaking, you will see that the work you are giving them will be organized, be more effective. For me, when President Tinubu wants to choose someone that will be marking his ministers, to say that if you do not meet up to the standard, you will go. He choose to choose a woman because he knows that it's a woman that will be able to say and say, oh no. I think one of the reasons he puts Beta Edu in that particular ministry is because he believed I don't know, but I want to believe that he believe that as a woman will be able to bring the humanity in woman to bear in that particular ministry. I don't want to judge her that either she's guilty or not. But whatever it is to this moment, I want to believe that even she herself and the president might likely be regretting putting her there. But that does not mean that there are still no others who can do it.
Okay.
That does not mean that there are still no other women who can occupy that particular position. I don't want to be mentioning names as if you are dropping names. But when you put a woman in charge, that is why politicians, let me use politicians. If you see, because there's this thing that behind every successful man, there is usually a woman. Then, now, beside every successful man, there is a woman. There is no politician that you will see, a good politician that we know as have a good woman. So many of them you might not even know them. But the truth of the matter is that they are the one in house. They are the one telling them that do this, do that. There was a time that this woman was interviewed. This governor of Ondo State, Oluseun.
Okay.
And when interviewed his own mom, that how does it feel to be mother of governor? And she said so many things. One of the things that struck my heart then was that one thing I knew is that anytime I see Segun, Ma was saying it, she was saying it in Yoruba, that I kept reminding her where she comes from. That's a role of a mother. I do not know, maybe there was an interview for her father, for his father or not, to remind the son where it's coming from. But there was one with the mother where she told his son not forget where it comes from. So no matter what you want to say the achievements of Segun Mimiko in Ondo State today, you still remember that there is a role that a woman played in that. And that is how, and that is why I believe that for woman, for any ministry, for anywhere you want people to excel, put women. God even at those days that someone will say that what do they know? There are experiences that are bound around us. You want to tell me that having African Footballer of the Year, female, Assistant Oshuala, is not something to be proud of?
Very, very.
Do you want to tell me that if you go into entertainment now, there are no ladies, women that you can say that I'm proud of her?
Right.
In journalism, you want to tell me that we don't have enough ladies that one can realize and say, no, we have people that we can show that we have qualities.
Okay, but don't forget that people often, that's when the stereotyping comes that, oh, in terms of journalism, the women are at the forefront. In terms of entertainment, the woman should be at the forefront. In terms of the maybe women politics, they don't give them positions except maybe women leader. So to some extent, there are some certain things that women ought to do and women not to do because perhaps they are women.
You see, my sisters, one of the issues we are having is that, like I do tell people, the problem that, if I could call it problem, women are having are not even just about what the society is all about, but women themselves. Majority have considered that particular field to men. That is why people like this senator from Kogi State, Natasha Apoti, I love that women. There are people that you cannot just silence them. No matter what they do, you just see that their voice is at the top. See, when people say that the role you give to people in politics most of the time is women leader, and I ask them, in which party? In Action Alliance, I can say it that, for example, in Action Alliance, my national chairman is someone that believes so much in women. FCT state, as a state, put in quote now, FCT chairman in Action Alliance is a woman. The secretary is a woman, and we have other states like that.
We actually do not doubt that, but you know, it's something that is really prevalent in the society.
Yes,
we often get that a lot. They say, men will say, go and sit down. Well, we'll talk about the role that men play when it comes to supporting women in politics. But before we continue, let's go on a short break. When we return, Engendered continues. Stay with us.
Please, girls, let's be fast with our chores. It's almost time for Engendered.
Girls, it's time for your favorite program, Engendered.
Yeah, Mommy, we're coming right away. Sophia, turn off the gas. What are your fears as a woman? And what are your doubts as a lady? You think you're alone with those thoughts? Then welcome to Engendered, where we bring you discuss, interviews, previews, experiences, opinions, and issues relating to the female gender. This is Engendered.
Welcome back, viewers. If you just joined us, this is the Engendered Show. And before the break, we are discussing the very important topic with our amiable guest. And the topic is women in civil service, utilizing political offices amid agitations for equal representation. Now, you agree with that so many people have this notion, especially the male gender, that the place of a woman ends either in the kitchen or the other room. Now, I'm sure you're not in consensus with that notion.
Not at all.
It's okay if it's in consensus.
Oh, wow. Can you just share with our viewers the essence of women's involvement in the civil service or politics so that they will be aware, and also erase that erroneous notion that the place of a woman ends in the kitchen or the other room? What's the essence of women's involvement in politics?
The role of women in government, either in governance, in government, or in politics, cannot be, how do I put it, cannot be overemphasized
Or undermined.
or undermined.
Yeah.
Because beyond the fact that it's even their own right to be part of decision making, it's also a kind of making the politics even have integrity. When we were growing up and they want to send us on errand, they will tell us then that where you see about 2 or 3 guys standing together, be careful, because of the issue of kidnappers, not in this era.
Okay.
But if you are going somewhere and you see that there is a woman amidst the people, I'm not saying that women are not into criminal activities now too, but then when you see them, there's this piece that then you see Oberenwa, they are females, they are women, so you have peace,
safe.
you are safe. And that is the kind of people that women represent in the society. They bring peace. You have this confidence when you see them. See, there are a lot of opportunities that women should utilize about the governance, because it's not. Do you know the number of women that registered for PVC? Do you know the number of women that voted in the last election? Now, if you can vote, what's stopping you from being voted for? If men are coming to you and saying it is the freedom of men to be, then let all men vote. If today there will be enough orientation for women, I do tell people, if there is anything, bring one of you out, support her.
But you agree with me that there are barriers that, you know.
There are barriers. Are there no barriers in banking industry for before women could become directors, executives? Are there no barriers in sports, in journalism? Are you saying there is no barrier for you here? I watched one particular clip by a Yoruba actor, an elderly one, someone I respect, and the way he was talking there, he was talking to some journalists and was telling one of them that you are carrying camera as a woman, are there no social things you faced before you got here? I don't want to use his foul language on the here, but everywhere there is always a barrier. If you consider, if so many people should consider the challenges they face in marriage, many people will not get married. But if you can succumb to it and say, despite that, I know that there are challenges there, I want to get married.
But in a situation whereby it's women that usually are at facing the brunt, like in terms of example, you made an instance about marriage. Now, men, I'm not saying that men don't go through challenges, but you find out that women are often faced with so much challenges in the marriage, even more than the man, because they say it's the woman that keeps the home in the first instance. I'm happy with the fact that you also spoke about human rights, and we're speaking about barriers and breaking these barriers. Now we have barriers from the family. As a woman, no, you are dealing with several barriers from the family, from the society, and even barrier from within yourself because you're a woman. 3 barriers.
You see?
And a man, the only barrier he has to deal with is the barrier that maybe perhaps the society, does the society bring any barrier to him? Maybe the barrier he faces by himself because he's trying to maybe vie for a political positions or whatever, and then that's his aspiration, so he has to deal with it. How can we as women, or how can women, okay, go through these things without, like, in a way that it's going to be like normal? Because we keep hammering about gender equality, but it's not seeming as though it's going to be ever feasible in even in nearest years to come. But let's not forget, viewers, that you can be part of this discussion by calling us via the number we are going to be displaying on your screen.
Now, thank you so much. If you want to say that our women, our ladies are not facing these barriers, these hurdles, we will only be deceiving ourselves. It's existing.
Sure.
It is there. But one thing I believe is this, and that's what I usually say. If there was a time in this country, if we were not here, we heard about it, that they don't even send the female children to school. Because even if they go to school, it will end in those two places that Confidence mentioned. I didn't.
Okay.
She said they will end it in You both said it.
but it's true now.
That's what they believe.
Especially your gender, yeah.
As it is now, do we still have that notion that we should not send female children to school?
Well, some people still
have that notion, that belief.
If some people still have that notion, that belief, do you know that if I should say it now, you yourself, you know that you still need to convince me that it's still happening? Because it has gotten to a level that even if you say it, some people will say that, why are you listening like this? There was a time in this country that even as a woman, there's limit to what you can aspire to be.
But it's still there.
It's still there, but not as it used to be.
But you spoke about education now.
Because that's where I'm going to. Because now the matter is that the more people, because see, one thing people need to know is that, and most especially our women, is that it's not just about going to school to get certificate, about our heart.
Okay.
Have you been educated? Have you been enlightened?
Yes, because I was going to go there now. Most times, okay, there's this mindset, it has been there for long, which you said that women shouldn't even go to school because they will end in the other room or in the kitchen. And now women are now saying, no, let me just go beyond that. And then after they finish school, what do they do next? Because the society is not even enabling in the first place. They just maybe do 1 or 2 businesses and help the husband, or perhaps just hold certificate and say, I finished school after all.
That's true.
So they don't even aspire as much. And even if the lady wants to aspire, there are so many gender roles that is bringing her down. Like she has to get married, she has to take care of the kids. She has, it's how do we get out of here?
Victoria.
Yes.
Confidence.
Yeah.
You know, I was even talking with someone recently, and he said, "Do you know it's not in the place of a woman to provide for the man? So there's limit to what you should aspire for."
The woman is just meant to be a helpmate, like a supporter.
Yes. So that means in a maybe even from the conception
How do you support when you don't have the means?
But the society has tended to define our support for us by helping in the kitchen and by perhaps in the other room.
Now let me ask you this.
That's the
question.
support.
That's why that's why I call the two of you by name. That let me now ask you: are you guys educated?
Of course.
Of
We're
course.
learned.
You are learning. Now let me now ask you: is this your kitchen?
No.
Is this the other room?
We are
No.
not talking for ourselves.
No, wait.
Yes.
Wait. Do you know that already you are already modest to people to know that it doesn't end there?
Okay.
This clip now, I know I've still get the clip of this particular.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
By the time I send it home, I'm very sure I can bet it with an angel. My daughter will be the first to call back. Do you know why? She will call because the two of you. There was a day I was watching KAFTAN TV at home, and I saw Victoria on TV set, and I told my daughter that that's my friend, and she was like, "You know her, as in you've seen her before."
Oh,
I said I can even call her for you. She was so thrilled, and she said, "Daddy, can I be a journalist?" I said, "Don't be a journalist because you saw someone on the TV."
okay.
Sit down, look at what can you aspire to be. Why am I saying this? Because people are already seeing the light. You might not know that this thing you are doing is reaching far. The number one thing anybody needs is education.
Okay.
Beyond what we learn in the class, let's embody people's mind. And that's what you are doing. Just keep doing it. You will know that is Ireti Kingibe, this senator representing FCT.
Yeah.
Didn't just wake up one day and become the senator. There are a lot of education that has gone in. Education that you can do this. Education that, okay, it's not. I write performing as theater art in the university. And I have so many of my classmates that are even HOD now in universities. Female, I'm not talking about males. I'm talking about females, PhD holders, lecturing University of Ilorin, Kwara State University, Federal University of Oye. These people, they know, they believe that, okay, society will put the barriers. See, for me as a man, if it takes me a minute to succeed on this particular issue, it will take a woman like 5 minutes. But what I want you to know is that it's achievable. 1 minute, not because she doesn't have mental capability, but because there are certain things that have been put on her way. That is why when you want to marry right. When you marry right, it will help you. A man that will not kill your vision.
Exactly.
A man that will help your vision. If you marry a man that will help you, I've seen a man that, I was saying this recently, a man whose wife was working in a bank and forced her to resign because he said that her salary will be much more than his own, and he will be meeting customers, clients that will be coming to the bank that they might snatch her from him. And I told my friend when she said, I said, the lady who did, she has been working in the bank before she met you. She didn't go with any of those guys. Eventually married you. So if they could not entice her then, what now makes you think that now that she's married is when they will entice her and snatch her from you? See, and she forced lady to resign from the bank. But the truth of the matter is that if you and I, we keep speaking out, my chairman, I keep making reference to him because I've been under my influence that he doesn't believe that there's anything that is not achievable. We might not get there today. We might not get there tomorrow, Friday. But I'm telling you today, one day we will get there. Let's just keep pushing it.
Yeah.
Let's keep telling our women that you are much more than the kitchen. You are much more than just an item in the other room.
But we are not where we should be, but we are far from where we are coming from. Yeah.
Look at our first lady, Senator Reuben. She was in the Senate for how many years? today, the first lady, if tomorrow she aspires to become the president, nobody will say that she doesn't have mental capability. As in, I'm not saying they say that, but I'm just saying. And there are a lot of people like that. See, when we begin to believe in ourselves, that's why I said women. If it's just when you get to women forum, say it. If tomorrow you will agree that and say, okay, Victoria and Confidence, you go to your state, you go on state, go aspire to become a chairman, you go and become a member of assembly. Look at this lady from Kwara State. Look at Yatu Shitu. She was just 26. She was once Senate President of Congress of NANS students, NOU and Open University students. And now she's the youngest House of Assembly member in Nigeria. And when she was interviewed by one television station, I don't want to mention now, she said that she did not see her age and her gender as a barrier. Not that they were no barrier, but she was not seeing them as barriers. And today, she contested as someone that was as old as her father, and she won.
Wow.
So if you people will say, okay, we want to go to our villages and contest it, the barriers will be there, but you can jump over the barriers. You can do it. If you have the will to go to school and excel, you've conquered one. They want you to be literate, but you conquered it. They said, okay, after getting this certificate, go and keep it at home and sit down. But you said, no, this knowledge I've acquired, I can use it outside. That's why you are here. There are still a lot you can do.
But let's be realistic now.
Yes, ma'am.
Considering the nature of governance in Nigeria,
Yes.
do you think gender equity is achievable in our political affairs or activities? Gender equity, with all your analysis now you made about women, you know, surmounting your,
you know, everybody that is watching me at home, viewers, this is why I'm giving you the opportunity. I'm not doing advertisement, but come to Action Alliance. Action Alliance, I'm telling you, is a platform that allows, presently, apart from the fact that the Office of National Women is for women, there are other offices, ex-official for the whole Southwest is a woman.
Well, there's no doubt actually that you can achieve those things anywhere, but I think what like Confidence is saying, that do you think like in the nearest future we are going to get there?
We will.
Okay.
Definitely we will. If it takes a woman to stop killing of twins in Nigeria, there is nothing that a woman cannot do. See, the truth of the matter is that you might not know. You see men as being strong. But the truth of the matter is that you women, you are the one that is our energizer.
We know, because when it comes to election, like I was opportune to cover the election, the 2023 general election, it is these women that come out to converse for the men. And I'm like, if a woman can stand and beat her chest that it is this man we want, and she mobilizes other women from grassroots, then why are women not even mobilizing more women?
For women.
For women.
That is it. The day we get there, I don't know if any of you have seen this particular movie. Is it fair to mention the title?
No, it's fine.
War. That is WAR. That is, I think it is Wrath and Revenge.
Yes,
yes, I've seen it.
You've seen it. Caliphate. Don't just see it as a movie. That is the microscopic view of our society. You see enormous power that men could display, and you see the more enormous power that a woman can display. When you see a woman that will say, no, we are going to scatter everything, then you see another woman that will say, no, we stand for the truth, we stand for, for justice. That is how it is in our society. The fact that so many women are not where they are today because their husband will say, no, I don't want you to join politics. The only thing that I'm so afraid of for women in politics, that if they want to go for it, is this gender violence.
Yes, you know, I was going to come that you keep picking my questions from my mouth, because you know, we're in a setting where it seems as though, okay, yes, male dominated, patriarchy everywhere, and when you see a woman vying for this position, you say, oh, she's a woman. And we hear gender violence being perpetrated, sexism or they'll say, oh, the woman is a prostitute.
Yeah.
It means she's sleeping with shit. For her to have even gotten that position,
yeah.
it means she has slept with a number of
one or two.
people.
Yeah.
So it's part of the barriers women face and biases. How do we break those situations? Like when we see a woman, then I'm surprised because, okay, I was having an interview with one politician, a woman, and she was telling me how when she contested for a position in her state, it was her own fellow women that were telling the woman did not know, because you can hear people's name but you don't know them in person. So the woman near her in the salon was now like, this woman, she wouldn't sleep with plenty women, and she was there.
Women not supporting women is another barrier again.
That is the issue.
Kind of competition.
It's so very surprising that you get pointing of hands like, oh, so how do we begin to appreciate and like get to that place whereby when we see women, we know that it is because they have worked for it and not because they have been favored. Because most times you see that before a woman gets a position, she's either very beautiful or she has a tendency to attract more wealth for the government or the person.
Or she has connections.
Or she's from a rich background or something. That's the only way you can see women coming out. But when it comes to competence and merit, you don't see them. They will not pick you.
And funny enough, the issue of not being picked based on merit is not only about women. What our society has turned to, we have turned it to who knows who. I knew it's much more for women. See, I won't deceive myself or deceive anybody by saying that these particular barriers we are raising are not there. They are there. Sure. But I'm telling you that we can succumb them. How do we not succumb them?
Thank you. Because even the laws are not even favorable. Do we need to change policies?
No, we have so many policies. We have so many policies that
the only policies or laws that we have that tend to support is the human rights. Is that enough? Even if it's there, is it implemented? Is it being followed through?
That is why I said that even most of these things we are just talking about them. Most of these policies are on papers.
Okay, they're not being implemented.
They're not being implemented. Right. We are talking about ministers in this age. We have 42s, at least 42 names were sent to the National Assembly for scrutinizing. And only 8 out of 42. And there is a certain quota that is expected that, okay, in governance, women should be also. But the truth of the matter is this. See, these problems will continue to be there until the day the issue of self-love is not just a slogan on WhatsApp status. When we begin to understand the issue of self-love, and when it's self-love, it's not about individual alone now. Self-love of women, not pulling another women down.
Okay.
Before a man will say that a woman has slept with so many men, before you forget that, go and check. Before a man will say that, 10 women have already said that. Okay. Women are the one competing with women. That is where it started.
Envy,
jealousness. And you will be seeing women saying that, so by this time, this one is now in Abuja. And who will be now taking care of the children?
I feel like it's men that is bringing in that hate. I don't want to believe that women do not support women. It is men that are building it in their hearts and their mind, because of the patriarchy system they have created in the first place. Because I know that there are communities that women have built, to help women, to even mentor women. But because of this, for instance, the man marries the woman and say, you must not go out, you must stay indoor. Then the woman now have learned that and she tell her children, you must not go out when you get married. You must stay with your husband or do whatever your husband says, whether it is cutting your leg.
You know what is there is that
it's still the men that has created it in their mind. And
we are bringing so many things into this, and I want us to treat the issue one by one. Now, the issue of marrying wrongly, because I keep saying it. I was telling someone recently that if, as a woman, you do not marry a man, you leave a man that has vision for a man that has television. You eventually watch the man that has vision on that same television.
Oh wow.
If you as a woman, when you marry wrongly, it's not only that you are affecting or you are already putting the future of your unborn children in danger. Your own vision is being killed already.
Yeah, that's
See, that's so many things are embedded in what you said. But I would quickly, because I don't want to muddle things up, I will go back to what we were discussing. And I will say that, see, the day women begin to trust women, that you have two candidates, a man, a woman, and you see the women are saying, hey, they are jumping over her to go and vote for a man. If the number of men that voted in last election should decide to vote for a woman and not a man in any election, go to anywhere. It's just like churches. Women always dominate.
okay.
So it is in voting pattern. Women, youth always dominate. But who are they voting for? All these barriers we are seeing, we will be having them. But we'll be conquering them one by one. There was a time that we heard about Iyataraba. I can't remember her name now. That woman from Taraba State who contested for governorship.
Yeah.
In the last election again, there was another woman like that. Adamawa. They were even saying she won, she didn't win. She won, she didn't win. There was a time that you've not even heard her name. But you've gotten to a stage. The last election, we had about 7 deputy governors in Nigeria. Plateau, Kaduna, Ogun State, like that. It's at a time we don't even have them, but now we could have that. In National Assembly now we have like 81 women. All these things didn't just come in a day.
It's a gradual
It's
process.
a gradual thing. That's why I said we will get there. Let's keep pushing. Let's keep pushing. And one thing I keep telling people: don't sit as if you are competing with men. Just see that you are doing your best. This is what I deserve.
Okay.
When you see it as a competition, there will be a problem. That is why you see a man saying that, because I've seen situations that a man will be telling a woman and say that I have your mate as home as wife. And I told my man, I said, then she also has his mate at home as husband.
Exactly.
That is the truth. But you know what is that when a woman sees it as competition, they might not be able to develop themselves the way they should and focus. They will be much more putting their focus on the opponent, the one they are competing against. If you don't forget, there was running to election in the first time that President Buhari became the president.
2015.
Okay, 2015. Good, thank you. There was this interview that they did for the youth leaders of the political parties. And one guy came, the one representing a particular party, then the party in power then, came up and he was to talk about Buhari. Out of the 5 minutes they gave him, he used 4 minutes and more to talk about the opponent, to talk about Buhari. And when his colleague from Buhari's party will now come forward, he said, can you imagine that they don't even have anything to say about their own party? He was given 5 minutes and he spent over 4 minutes out of his 5 minutes to talk about the opponent. What am I trying to drive at? Let no one, when women are coming out, don't see it as a competition against men.
Okay.
Put yourself forward. Look at Natasha. I so much love that woman. I've never seen her one-on-one like this before from Ogun State, but I love her. She will not allow anybody to silence her. The first time she contested, I think for governorship or something, she didn't win. She did not, because of that, go and folded at home and say I lost election. She came out again. She lost. They said she lost during the election. She went to tribunal, she won. She went to appeal, she won. Everything. She's now at the National Assembly. So That is the spirit. We should not say that because we've not won now, we not think that we will not win. We will win. Let's just keep doing it. Let's keep doing it.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Indeed. All right, so I'm going to ask you because like the background we gave about Better Edu, it means there is need for accountability. Even when women are put in that positions, there's need for transparency. We need people to be truthful about when they're position, whether be it a man or a woman at this stage.
Yes.
So what steps can we do to ensure, especially in Nigeria, where we find that people just do things the way they want? If you are in a high level, there's a way you cover it up and nobody knows. But where you don't have much, it goes and cannot be swept under the carpet. Or most times you don't, even when they are being persecuted, we don't see the end of it. That's how it goes. So what steps should be taken to create accountability and transparency in government when we get to this position?
One thing I must give kudos to President Bola Tinubu for so far is being decisive on certain issue. The issue of Better Edu, that he did not even allow us to be rigmaroling on the issue before he said, you go sit down, make we see what they happen here.
Okay.
Because Nigerians, only few of us have that integrity to say, I want to resign. Nigeria, we know the resign. Waiting, we like, make we talk.
I think it's an African thing.
It's African thing. So, because there are policies to discourage corruption in Nigeria, either you are a man, either you are a woman, but there is this thing that the politics are on papers. So, just like we said earlier, we don't utilize them. I want to believe before any of these people were even nominated, they were being screened.
Yes,
There were security reports on all of them. Someone who would be so confident to transfer over 100 million, over 500 million into personal accounts will not just start one day. There would have been certain inkling to let us know that she can be like this. But because probably, maybe, as usual, some people screened her and they said, see, we don't get this one with us. What do you want to do? Before someone become a governor, they send their names, they will go to DSSS, all those things, to make sure that they do one or two things to screen them. But the truth of the matter is that how many of them are being disqualified based on that? No one. Because as usual, we don't shake hands.
And this Better Edu's case, it might not even be a one-man transaction.
There is not possible.
Right?
Something magnitude like that will not just be one person there. But she's just the face of that issue.
Yes.
There are still a lot, so many that are masquerades behind her. And until we begin to treat issues from the cause, because I do tell people, my chairman usually says something that, see, most of these things you are talking about, ministers, go to the ministry, the civil servants. They are the owner of that place. They are the one who will say, Shebi, you just have 4 years. Me, I've been here for the past 20 years, and I'll see you for another 15 years. They know how they do these things. But when we want to talk, we just focus on the minister, on the commissioner, on this, on that. But the truth matter is that those ones that they really know how to. When did she come? How many years have she spent in the ministry?
It's not
up to a year, not up to 7 months. You now telling me that she just come and she just. Then it means that there are people there that are behind these things. So until Nigerians begin to see, let me put it that way, Nigerians begin to see that this is our country, we have no other one.
Indeed.
Right.
Thank you, White. It's been a
Thank you so
wonderful
much.
time talking
Thank you so
to you.
much.
And we hope that when we call next time, you'll be available for us.
By God's
Especially
grace.
when we need to talk about that discussion earlier. Well, viewers, it's been a wonderful time discussing, of course, the issues of women in politics with you this beautiful Thursday evening. And we hope that our guest has been able to enlighten and educate you on some of the things we need to do to utilize the positions whenever they come to us, because it can just come to you one moment, but ensure you work for it. And when you're being challenged, you not go and sit down one corner and say, oh, I've been challenged and I cannot move on. It's our society. We must contribute to its goods. Again, I am Victoria Agbi.
There shouldn't be gender segregation when it comes to political affairs in our country. Women should also be involved. Till we come your way again, I am Conifidence Reuben.
Bye
Bye for now.